Hi there, and welcome to this review of the One Way UK Daily Devotionals for the week beginning the 19th of September and going through to the 23rd of September. We're still in John, we start in John chapter 9, and we're looking into this series, How to Be a Witness for Jesus. So let's begin. In considering what we've been reading in John, we just need to remember that the Jews had agreed already that if anyone confessed that he, Jesus, was the Christ, then they would be put out of the synagogue. Now, the healed blind man must have spotted the way that things could turn out once his inquisitors said that he was a disciple of Jesus. But he stayed on track, and he didn't bow to the implication of their threats, didn't deter him. He just reaffirms his witness statement that Jesus had opened his eyes. And that's the cutting edge of witnessing for Jesus. It is testifying to what Jesus has done for us, whether other people like it or not. So there's that little edge of steel every time we witness, and the steel is within us, but then greater is he who is within us than he who is in the world. On Tuesday we went on and we recognized that to witness for Jesus we need to understand what has happened to us. The blind man did. He understood very well what had happened to him. He made the point that since the world began, it has been unheard of that anyone opened the eyes of one who was born blind. If this man were not from God, he could do nothing. Now that really got his inquisitors angry, and they in fact cast him out of the synagogue. Now we've been through that before, a very serious matter. It was more than, you've got nothing to do on Saturday now because you can't go into the synagogue. It was far more serious than that. People could be penalised for talking to you or employing you. In fact, you were an outcast of your own society. Very serious matter. But you see, the Christian witness is somebody who, in the face of these issues, actually says, but I can do no other. This is the truth. This is what Jesus has done for me. If we go on to Wednesday, and this is really, it comes hand in glove with what we've been saying. It's fine making these bold statements, these affirmations of faith in Jesus. But let's face it, pressures can be frightening. They can be disturbing. They can be life-endangering, which means that we must trust Jesus. We must trust him absolutely. I love it that when Jesus heard that this man had been cast out, he actually looked for him and he found him and he made himself known to him. And I think this is the only occasion, certainly I've been told this, when Jesus sought out somebody that he'd healed. And this man, of course, was being penalised. He was being persecuted for what he'd said about Jesus. And all he'd said was the truth, that this man came and this man healed him. I think the message we can take from this is that Jesus never abandons those who witness for him. And that is the confidence that we can have in him. Let's continue. We looked on Thursday that faithful witnessing has consequences for others, not just ourselves. And in this case, the consequences are a challenge to Jesus' inquisitors. And there was the overflow, because Jesus is drawn into a conversation with the Pharisees, and he made the point that he comes so that those who could not see were able to see, and that those who could see may be made blind. And the Pharisees picked up quickly on the spiritual nature of what Jesus was referring to. And his reply to them is a challenge to every single religious person in the world, whatever belief they would claim to follow. And the reason for that is because Jesus highlights the difference between those who are spiritually blind and those who claim not to be spiritually blind. Now, the sin of the latter remains because they can see but can't, as Jesus said. They're blind leaders of the blind, and if the blind leads the blind, both will fall into a ditch. So watch out for those who would claim to see but actually can't. I remember there was a lot of this happened at the time of what was called the charismatic renewal back in the 1970s in this country. And people who claimed to know all that God would want to do were denying the work of the Holy Spirit. They were denying the manifestation of tongue speaking, of people being healed, of people prophesying. They were denying the very Holy Spirit that they would have claimed that they were supporting and protecting from the heretics who were going around speaking in tongues, prophesying and healing. But it's a chilling thought, isn't it? Well, that's then none so blind as will not see. And then Friday was great. We're starting a new subject really within John. It's a new chapter of John chapter 10. And we're going to be looking at the Good Shepherd. And we're studying out about the Good Shepherd. And we begin with the sheepfold. And on Friday, we sort of saw physically what a sheepfold would have been like. And the thing was that people would have come at night to try and steal sheep, and that's associated with darkness. And what we ended on was that the words of Paul speaking to King Agrippa. I'm convinced that none of these things, he said of King Agrippa, that's things about Jesus, escapes his attention, since this thing was not done in a corner. You see, the true things of faith are of the light. Secrecy belongs to the darkness. Well, I hope you're going to have some light this weekend. I hope that not just spiritually but physically. I hope you're going to be able to get out. I hope there's going to be some sunshine where you are and that we can enjoy these sort of early days of autumn. And I look forward to being with you next week.